That was a great tense. So today we're going on to reciprocals. We're working from slides 18 to 20 from the trigonometry PowerPoint. Okay, so basically what reciprocals mean, it just means it is the opposite of what it is. And we're going to find the reciprocals for your trig functions, sine, cos, and tan. Now, just to remind you, given a triangle, a right angle triangle, you have a given angle theta. Okay, and then from that theta, we show where our hypotenuse is, always opposite the 90. Then from the given angle, we have the opposite side and then the adjacent side. Okay, and if you remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, and cos was adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan was opposite over adjacent. Okay, just go back to that little rhyme that we did in the beginning, okay? Over adjacent, okay? Right, so now we've got reciprocals. Now the reciprocal for sine will be cosec. And as I said, the reciprocal is just the opposite, so if we flip it around. So if we flip around sine will be, or the opposite of sine will be hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, so that is what cosec is. It's the reciprocal of sine. The reciprocal for cos will be sec theta, and the opposite of that would be hypotenuse over adjacent. Okay. And then the reciprocal for tan will be cot theta. So that will be adjacent over opposite. Okay, so those are your reciprocals for your main trig functions. I just want to make a note over here. So cosec theta will be equal to 1 over sine theta. Sec theta will be equal to 1 over cos theta. And then the last one, cot theta, will be equal to 1 over tan theta. Okay. And that's what we mean by reciprocals. It's just the opposite of it. Okay. So going on to an example now. So example 1 is saying, write down the trigonometric ratios for the angle P and angle Q. So I've just written in the corner here what your new trig functions are. That cosec is hypotenuse over opposite, sec is hypotenuse over adjacent, and cot is adjacent over opposite. So if we look at angle P, that's what these three are asking here. So if we have a look at angle P, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in my opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse for my angle P. So the first thing I'm going to do is find my hypotenuse, which is opposite the 90. So this is hypotenuse side. Then let's find the adjacent. So the adjacent side is next to our angle P. Well, it can't be this side because that's already the hypotenuse. So the only one it has to be is this one here. So this is your adjacent side, and I'm just going to highlight that in orange because it will change with this angle Q in a second. Okay. Then the opposite side for angle P would be this one here. And I'm going to highlight that in orange so we can just see. Okay. Right, so let's answer all the questions for angle P. So cosec P, cosec will be hypotenuse over opposite. So my hypotenuse side is this PQ. So this will be PQ over, and our opposite side, which is this one, will be QR. Let's have a look at sec P, still this angle. So sec is hypotenuse, which is PQ, over our adjacent side, which is this PR side. Cot will be adjacent, so our adjacent would be PR over our opposite, which is QR. And as you can see, they're all different ratios of this triangle. Okay, let's have a look at angle Q now, which is this one over here. Okay, again, I'm just going to fill in my adjacent, opposite, and hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is opposite the 90, so it's still this side here. Then the side adjacent to my Q, well, it can't be this one because that's a hypotenuse, so this must be the adjacent for Q. And I'm just going to highlight that. And then the opposite side for Q would be this one here. And let's just highlight that one. Okay, so we're looking at angle Q for cosec. Cosec is hypotenuse over opposite, so our hypotenuse is PQ over our opposite is now PR, the side here, PR. Right, let's have a look at sec. Sec is hypotenuse, which is this PQ side, over adjacent. Now adjacent for Q is this one here, which is QR. Then cot is adjacent over opposite, so adjacent for Q is this side here, which is QR, over opposite. Opposite for Q is PR side. Okay, and there we've got our ratios for that triangle. So let's have a look at example 2 now. Example 2 is saying determine the value of the following correct to 2 decimal places. So we've got calculator work here, and if you look on your calculator, we don't have a cosec, sec, or cot button. We've only got sine, cos, or tan. Now, if you remember in the beginning, that's why I wrote these things here. Because we can write cosec, sec, and cot in terms of sine, cos, and tan, which is on our calculator, sine, cos, and tan, by doing these things over here. So if I have a cosec, I'm going to say it's 1 over sine. If I have a sec, I'm going to say it's 1 over cos. And if I have a cot, I'm going to say it's 1 over tan. Okay. So let's go back to this example. So we have a cosec. So cosec is going to be 1 over sine. So we get 1 over sine 36. So that is that. That I can put on the calculator now because I have a sine button on the calculator. So we press our fraction button, 1 over sine 36, press equals, and I'm going to round it off to 2 decimal places. So 2 decimals is over there, so it's 1.7. Okay, now sec is going to be 1 over cos, so we get 1 over cos, but it's going to be squared 52 degrees. Okay, let's put that on the calculator. So you remember grade 10s, we don't have a cos squared button either. So how I'm going to write that on the calculator is I'll write it like this. 1 over bracket cos 52 squared. That is how I'm going to write it on the calculator. Okay, so 1 over bracket cos 52, close that inside bracket, outside bracket, and then square it. Round that off to 2 decimal places. It's going to be 2.64. All right. Going on to question C. I'm going to change the cot to a tan, and I'm going to change the sec. We can change the sec to a cos. Okay. So this is going to be 8 times 1 over tan 88 degrees multiplied by 1 over 1 over, and sec is cos 32 degrees. Okay, so you remember that this one is that one over there. Okay, so this we can put on the calculator. So just watch how I do it because it's a little bit complex. So we've got 8 times fraction button 1 over tan 188, close my bracket, times, press your fraction button. We're going to press 1 up at the top, go to the bottom, and press my fraction button again, because we've got that fraction at the bottom there, and we go 1 over cos 32, close that bracket. And we get an answer rounded off to 2 decimal places of 0.24. Okay, so not too bad, as you can just put this on the calculator. Right, grade 10s, I would like you to do exercise 5.5 for me, please. Number 1A to L. Thank you.